Alright, I am Tehuti, Khepera, Iteru. Now this video right here, I want to break down the Kemetic Tree of Life, right? And also how you can use the science of the Kemetic Tree of Life for modern times and how it relates to our fight against white supremacy. Alright? So let's get straight into this. So now to begin, we understand that we have the waters of Nu, right? So to begin with, in the mythology, we have the waters of Nu. It starts with the waters of Nu, right? So now, the reason why they chose waters, I spoke about this in other videos, but the reason why they chose the water is because the metaphor of the water, the reason why they chose the waters of Nu is because water has different states. It can be solid, liquid, or a gas, right? But we know that the only thing separating those three states of matter is the vibratory frequency of the atoms, right? So energy is vibration. So basically what it's trying to say here is that the waters of Nu was a subtle state of vibration, a subtle state of vibratory energy, right? That was the precursor to all different states of energy, you see, right? So again, so now get this picture right here. So here we have the Tree of Life right here. So again, at the top, the waters of Nu. Now this person right here, if you can see that, that is the god Nebecha. Now Nebecha is the physical representation of the waters of Nu, right? And that right there is Mahert. Now Mahert is the female aspect. So again, it still represents, Mahert means the mighty full one, but again, it still represents the aspect of the waters of Nu, a physical aspect of the waters of Nu, right? And then this right here is Net, or Nat, which is supposed to be the matrix of creation. She represents she represents the she represents the cosmos, right? Dark matter, you see. And it says that she is the veil of the universe, right? And then you have the Heru M Aket, right? Or the whole M Aket. Now let's see what we got here. Let's see. So yeah, so again, so that's the waters of Nu. So the next thing we want to deal with now. So again, so let's see. So now we have the waters of Nu. From Nu came, get this right here. So from Nu came Ra, and the symbol of Ra. So from Nu came Ra, right? The symbol of Ra. So I'm saying from Nu came Ra. Now Ra, or Khepera, is the subtle form of the waters of Nu. So creation doesn't begin until Ra then creates Shu and Tefnut. So creation doesn't begin until Ra creates Shu and Tefnut. So now I want to read to you an extract from the Egyptian creation story B, right? It says that I am the creator of what hath come into being, and I myself came into being under the form of the god Khepera, right? And I came into being in primeval time. I came into being in the form of the god Khepera, and I am the creator of what did come into being. That is to say, I formed myself out of the primeval matter, and I made and formed myself out of the substance which existed in primeval time. My name is Asa, who is the primeval matter of primeval matter. So it shows how, but Asa represents your soul. So in so many words, what it's saying here is that your soul is Ra, right? Which is a subtle piece of the Creator, a subtle form of the waters of Nu. So now going back to this now. So going back to this now. So from the waters of Nu. So from the waters of Nu emerged Ra, right? Emerged Ra, Ra was a subtle form of the waters of Nu. So creation doesn't begin until Ra creates the 9 Ennead of the gods. So creation doesn't begin until Ra creates the 9 Ennead of the gods. So we have the number 9 here. Now, the reason why this is important is because 9. So creation doesn't begin until Ra creates any of the gods. So again, the 9 Ennead. So again, the reason why number 9 is because the 9, it comes back to itself. So 9 goes up and it comes back to itself, and it shows how creation eventually comes back to itself. But the Corpus Hermeticum teaches us that there is no end. The end is simply going back to the beginning. You see what I'm saying? The end goes back to the beginning. So 9 comes back to itself. It goes back to the beginning. But in the beginning, there was darkness. You see what I'm saying? So the end goes back to the beginning. So now I want to quickly talk about the number 9 right quick. So 9 is a number of completion, as all multiples of 9 add up to 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 8 plus 1 is 9. But also, when you times the multiples of 9 together, then add the remaining numbers, you also get 9. So 27 times 27 is 729. But 7 plus 2 plus 9 is 18, and 8 plus 1 equals 9. Right? So it shows how even after the mathematical process, 9 still comes back to itself. So it's still able to complete itself. You see what I'm saying? So 9 is completion. But 9 is also the highest number. As when you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then when you get to 10, it restarts, as 10 is really 1. 11 is 2, you see. Yeah, so 11 is 2. Also, another thing is that, let's see. Yeah, let's put that right. Okay, so also another thing I want to mention is that 3 is 9, right? This is why the number 3 is so highly esteemed among the Masons, because 3 is 9, as 3 times 3 is 9. So when 3 impregnates itself, it produces 9. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the Holy Trinity is so, you see what I'm saying? It's so powerful, because the Holy Trinity, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 is 9. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the Holy Trinity is so powerful, because 3 is just as powerful as 9. So now I broke that down right there. Now we can get into this right here. Now we can get into this. Right now we can actually get into this real quick. All right. So now we can get into this. Okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna start from the top, work our way down, right? Discussing each of the principles, and then we're going to work our way back up. So the principle we're going to start off here now. So again, it starts off thin, then it works and it becomes thick towards the bottom. So it starts off thin, and then it starts to become thick towards the bottom, because the reason why it starts off thin is because that's a subtler aspect. That's a subtle aspect, and then towards the bottom it becomes thick, because that's the grosser, more denser aspect. So the top part now. The top is the benben, the capstone, right? And you have Ra, but then you also have Tehuti, and then you have Ma'at. Now Tehuti is the intelligence of the universe, right? And Ma'at is the order of the universe, because Ma'at is order. You see what I'm saying? Ma'at is truth, justice, and righteousness, but it's also order. You see what I'm saying? Ma'at is order. So now. And then you have Ra. So now dealing with Ra, you have Ra. There's 3. So you have Ra, Khepera, and Atumre. Khepera is the rising sun, and Atumre is the setting sun. You see what I'm saying? But Ra is not the sun. The sun is Atenra, the physical manifestation of Ra. Right? So now Ra, from here now, Ra then creates Shu and Tefnut. So Ra creates Shu and Tefnut. So now, but in the mythology, Ra impregnates himself, so he ejaculates into his own mouth to produce Shu and Tefnut. Now the reason why this is important is because what this shows how is because when you understand the birth process and you have the baby has 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, so 23 from the mom and 23 from the dad. So what they're trying to say here is that Shu and Tefnu are of Ra. They are products of Ra. You see what I'm saying? They are aspects of Ra. You see what I'm saying? Because so they contain the information of Ra. The reason why this is important is because with modern religion, what they do, they take Ra, or they take God out of the equation and say that they take God away from its creations, but God is present within its creations. Another example is this. If in the beginning there was Ra, in the beginning there was God, right? So any physical manifestations that come from that would have to be of God. They would have to contain God, because the only ingredient was God. So therefore, any other creation has to contain God. So all creations, all physical elements of creation contain God. So God is never separate from its creations. It was never separate. God is the creations. You see what I'm saying? So that's a problem with religion. They take God away from, because you can't create something from nothing. You see what I'm saying? And you can't create nothing from something. If there was nothing in the start, there will be nothing in the end. You see what I'm saying? If there was something in the beginning, there will be something in the end. It's science. So with the religion, it has nothing to do with science. You see what I'm saying? So when Ra impregnates himself to produce Shu and Tefnu are of Ra. They are of the essence of Ra. So again, so now Shu is air and Tefnu is moisture, right? So Shu is space and Tefnu is moisture. But see, Tefnu, I don't know if you can see it on this, but let me see. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see it on this, but Tefnu, let me see, you won't be able to see it clearly on there, but Tefnu basically is the lioness. She is the lioness, but Tefnu is the same lioness deity as Sekhmet, but Sekhmet is life force energy. So Tefnu is life force energy. So Tefnu is the life force energy that permeates through space. You see what I'm saying? But so what this represents here, Shu and Tefnu represent time and space. You see what I'm saying? She's the energy that permeates through space, as time only exists with motion. So when the Ra creates Shu and Tefnu, Ra essentially creates time and space. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it represents right there. So now once time and space is created, time and space now gives rise to the physical elements of creation. So now we create Geb and Nut. So Shu and Tefnu, time and space, give rise to Geb and Nut. Now Geb is the earth and Nut is the cosmic bodies. You see what I'm saying? Geb is the earth and Nu is the cosmic bodies. Right? Nu is the cosmic bodies. So but Geb is not only the earth. Geb is the earth, and he is everything that is produced by the earth and everything that is within the earth. You see what I'm saying? But Geb is Asar is the son of Geb. Asar is the son of Geb, and Asar is king. So but Geb was king before Asar. So Geb was the one who gave the throne to Asar. So Geb is the god of earth. He is the king of earth. Now the goddess Nut is the cosmic body. Goddess Nut, she carries the stars, right? But stars are souls. So when you die, your soul is goes in the body of Nut. This is why in the tombs, in the sarcophagus, what they would often do, they would put the goddess Nut on the lid of the tombs. You see what I'm saying? To try and say that your soul will be carried by the goddess Nut. Your soul will now be carried by the goddess Nut in the afterlife. Now it says that the goddess Nut, she swallows Ra in the west and gives birth to him in the east, which is symbolic of the sun setting in the west and rising in the east, right? But it also says that Ra transverses the Duat. So when he is swallowed by Nut, he transverses the Duat, which shows how Ra is not actually the sun, but he's the force behind the sun. Right? So now we got that aspect out of the way now. So that's Geb. That was Geb and Nut. Now Geb and Nut create Asar or Set, Nebhet. So they create Asar or Set, and Nebhet. So now, take a closer look here. So again, they create Asar or Set, and Nebhet. Now these lower five right here, including Heru, these lower five right here represent the more grosser aspect. the most grosser aspect of creation. So the top part here represents creation, and the lower five now represent human consciousness. It's more to deal with the human aspect. So now, let me see here. Yeah, so those are the human aspects. So now these arrows right here. So you can see these arrows right here. They represent complementary opposites. So Asar, the complementary opposite of Asar is Nebhet, and the complementary opposite of Set is Set. So now I want to break down these four principles right here. So now, let's see this here. So Asar represents your soul, right? But the story of Asar is that, let's see here. So Asar represents your soul, but the story of Asar is that Asar slept with Nebhet, right? He slept with Nebhet, and so Asar was at a party, and he was drunk, and he slept with Nebhet. But now, the Corpus Hermeticum teaches us that you can be drunk off ignorance. So a person can be drunk on ignorance. So Asar being at a party and being drunk and sleeping with Nebhet, thinking it was all set, shows how the soul was drunk, the soul was ignorant. So when the soul is ignorant, it sleeps with Nebhet. Nebhet represents mortality. True represents the physical body, right? So Nebhet represents the physical body, right? And Nebhet and Set are twin sisters. So he mistaken Set, Nebhet for Set. So your soul, when the soul becomes ignorant, so it's drunk, right? Asar was drunk. When the soul becomes ignorant, you were drunk on ignorance. It now sleeps with Nebhet. It now becomes mated with the body. You see what I'm saying? It becomes more attached to the physical body. You see what I'm saying? So it mated with Nebhet. So the soul lost its knowledge of self. You see how that works, that right there? But now Nebhet represents health and beauty. Right? She represents health and beauty in the physical body. So everything to do with the physical body, health, beauty, that's Nebhet. So now, so the soul, but she also represents death. So the soul died to its higher nature, and it became subject to the seduction of Nebhet. You see what I'm saying? The seduction of the physical body. You see what I'm saying? But she also represents a second death. And what happens is that once the soul starts to realize itself again, it dies to the physical body, or it dies to the physical world, and it becomes detached to the physical world and all of the physical elements of the world. You see what I'm saying? And what happens is then, now the soul impregnates Nebhet now, and it produces Anubis. So the soul now produces Anubis or Ampu. Now, and so again, so Ampu is the bastard son of Set and Nebhet, as Set and Nebhet can't actually Set and Nebhet, he's the bastard son, excuse me, as Anubis is the bastard son of Asar and Nebhet, as Set and Nebhet can't actually produce any children, because Set represents the ego and Nebhet represents the physical body. Both are not actually real, they're not real aspects, so therefore they cannot produce anything real. Both of them don't exist, so therefore they cannot produce anything real, so they don't have any children. You see what I'm saying? So Anubis is the bastard son of Asar and Nebhet. Anubis represents the discerning mind. There's Ampu, and then there's Ampu-et. There's two Anubis. Ampu is the discerning mind, or the Ampu that prepares the body for death. So it's talking about how it's the discerning mind, where you're starting to seek truth now. Truth from falsehood. It's the discerning mind to know from truth from falsehood. You see what I'm saying? You're starting to discern from things now. Right? Then Ampu-et is the higher mind, or the Anubis that leads you for the Da'at. So the Anubis that leads you for the Da'at, that's Ampu-et. You see what I'm saying? Now Asar, again, so going back to Asar represents your soul. Now the soul goes through transformations. So Asar was cut into 14 pieces, right? Now the reason why it's important is because 14 pieces is the exact number of limbs. So if you cut off your head, that's 1, right? If you cut off from here, that's 3, right? And if you cut off from here, that's 3. And if you cut off from here, That's 4, 5. Then you cut off from the wrists. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And the hands. And if you cut off, so if you cut off every single limb, cut off from the hips, 9, 10, cut off from the knees, 11, 12, then cut off the feet, 13, 14. So that's every single limb, right? So the reason why that's why it's 14, because it's every single limb of your body. Now the reason why that's important is because it shows how, because what happened was, so it shows how in order for you, because we know Asar goes through a transformation, so it shows how in order for you to go through a transformation, this transformation is not physical. The reason why is because if I just cut off my wrist, I can still move my arm. But if I cut off from the elbow, I can still move my shoulder. But if I cut off the whole shoulder, elbow, wrist, I can't even use any of that. So now if you cut off every single limb, you can't, your functions in the physical are ceased now. You are ceased. You can't do anything now in the physical. So it shows how this transformation is beyond the physical. It's not anything to do with the physical. This transformation is beyond the physical because it's 14 pieces, so you can't move anything. You see what I'm saying? There's no connections. And it also shows how in order to transform, in order for the soul to fully transform, you have to completely detach from the physical, because every single limb is cut off, every single limb, so you can't do anything in the physical. So it shows how in order to transform, for the soul to transform, you have to be completely detached from the physical. You see, so that's why it's 14 pieces right there, you see. So now, so then what happens is when he's cut into 14 pieces now, Asar or Set goes to find him now. She goes to find him. Or Set represents your intuition. And your intuition now is what leads you to higher consciousness of the soul. You see what I'm saying? So she goes to search for him now. And your intuition leads you to higher consciousness of the soul. You see what I'm saying? Higher consciousness of the soul. So she's searching for Asar, she puts him back together. So Aset, the intuition, puts the soul back together because she's seeking the higher consciousness of the soul. The intuition is seeking higher consciousness of the soul, right? So she puts back the 14 pieces, but she can't find the penis. Now, penis, you know what I'm saying, in some instances, it can represent the pineal gland. In some instances, as a penis, it's erection, resurrection. So it's a symbol of resurrection. So not finding the penis also symbolizes the pineal glands. The pineal gland is the seat of the soul. You see what I'm saying? So it's, you see what I'm saying? It's penis, pineal gland, you know what I'm saying? But it's a seat of the soul. You see what I'm saying? The transformation right there. So that's, in some instances, that's what it can mean, the penis right there, not finding the penis. It's just a symbol of resurrection, you know what I'm saying? That's all it means. Erection, resurrection, right? So now, Osset mates with the sun now, and it produces Heru. They produce Heru. Now Heru is your spiritual aspiration. So now that your intuition has led you to your soul, led you to higher consciousness of your soul, now you want spiritual aspiration now. So now Asar and Aset produce Heru right there. Now there's 3 Herus. There's baby Heru, adult Heru, and Heru or the great Heru. Now Heru represents raising in consciousness. It's the falcon. The reason why they chose the falcon is because the falcon, it flies, right? The falcon denotes flight. So the falcon can go from the ground to the rooftop, to the treetop, to the mountaintop. So the falcon can go to different levels in the sky, right? But the sun in the sky was the physical manifestation of Ra. So transversing higher levels in the sky, treetop, rooftop, mountaintop, denoted raising in consciousness. It was raising in consciousness. So that's why they chose the falcon, which, because it goes to different levels, shows how raising in consciousness. You see. So there's 3 Herus, right? But now, so you have baby Heru where he's just sucking on the breast of Osset. He's just sucking on the breast of Osset, just getting the wisdom. He's just getting that wisdom. He's getting the intuition from Osset, and then he starts to grow now. But there's also another Heru where he's kind of mastering the elements, which is kind of like a teenage Heru kind of thing, right? And then now you have Heru Behutith, where he has a type of sword type of thing, right? I forgot what it's called. I think it's Khepera or something like that. Some kind of, I can't remember what the sword's called, but yeah, this sword, and that's when now he's fighting Set. He's fighting the ego right here, right? He's fighting Set. You see what I'm saying? But also, again, remember how the arrows mean complementary opposites. If you notice again, so the complementary opposite of Asar is Nebhet, right? It's the arrow leading to Nebhet, and the complementary aspect of Set is Osset. That's why it's called a Set, because what happens is your intuition is what helps you go beyond the ego. So the ego is what suppresses intuition. Your ego is actually what suppresses higher consciousness. So the higher consciousness is suppressed by the ego. So the intuition is the higher consciousness is suppressed by the ego. Right? So again, there's 3 Herus. Now, Heru is when you beat Set. Heru is when you have defeated Set. Right? So that's Heru and now you sit on that throne right there. So you once you've mastered all the principles and you have defeated Set, Heru now sits on that throne. But there's one arrow leading from there's one arrow leading from Heru to Ra, because now you have become Ra, but you are master of Earth. You are God on Earth. You see what I'm saying? So that's Heru. So now I want to go back up to Geb and Nut. So now we've talked about these principles down here. Now I want to show you the meaning behind Geb and Nut and how to master Geb and Nut. So now going back to Geb, Geb is everything of the earth. He is all the things of the earth, and he's the things in the earth, which includes the minerals, right? So the mastery of Geb is science and understanding minerals, understanding the minerals, which is again is chemistry, biology. That's the mastery of Geb. But the minerals of earth are subject to heat and pressure, and heat and pressure transforms the minerals. It transforms it. So for example, carbon becomes, once it's heated and put under pressure, it becomes a diamond. So mastery of Geb is also the mastery of alchemy. So Geb, to master Geb, you master science and you must master alchemy. Right, so now when it comes to mastering Nebhet, to master Nebhet means you have to master universal law. Right, you have to master universal law, because Nebhet, she's the universe, she's the cosmic body. Right, she's the heavenly body. So in order to master Nebhet, you must master universal law. But it also says that once you master Nebhet, your Hekaku becomes strong. So once you master Nebhet, your Hekaku becomes strong. But Heka is Egyptian magic, right? But the universe is mental, right? So magic is basically manipulating the forces of the universe. The universe is mental. So in order for your Heka to become strong, you must now understand universal law. You see? So now when it comes to understanding the principle of Shu and Tefnut, but Shu is space and Tefnut is life force. So again, the mastering the principle of Shu and Tefnut, we're talking about mastering spirituality and prana, life force. We're talking about mastering spirituality, prana, and meditation. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about mastering meditation right here. You see what I'm saying? So again, that is the mastery of the tree of life right there. So now I want to talk about how this relates to the fight against white supremacy. So now I want to talk about how you can use this for modern times. So now, as I have said in other videos, is that the white man is bound to the physical, right? He is bound to the physical. So when we're dealing with our fight against white supremacy, we only have to deal with it with the human aspect. So we don't deal with it here. We deal with it in the lower 5 aspects right here, which is Asar, Set, and Nebhet. That's what we deal with it right there. That's where we deal with a fight in white supremacy. So now, going back to this, so there's 3 Herus. So there's baby Heru, and then there's Heru when he's fighting Set, and there's Heru. So now baby Heru is sucking on the breast of all Set. So what baby Heru represents is the unconscious Negroes, right? The unconscious Negroes who are still sucking the breast of white supremacy. As all Set, right? She represents the matrix of white supremacy. So the Negroes who are baby Heru, they're still sucking on the breast of white supremacy. So again, so what this means is that they still look for validation from white supremacy, whether that be through the dictionaries, you see what I'm saying, through the white man's philosophies. They're still looking for validation from white supremacy. The unconscious Negroes are baby Heru, so they're still sucking on the breast of white supremacy. So again, they're looking for validation from white supremacy, right? So they're looking for validation of white supremacy. So they're still using white supremacy as a point of reference, right? So baby Heru. So now the next Heru now. So now the next level to Heru. The next level to Heru is now where you're fighting Set. Now you're fighting the white man now, because again Set is the ego, but again I spoke about how the white man, he is just the ego, and the ego wants to exist. You see what I'm saying? The ego wants to exist. You see what I'm saying? So now you're fighting the ego of white supremacy. Now you're fighting his egotistical philosophies. You know what I'm saying? Such as, and also his fantasies. You know what I'm saying? Egypt was white and black people are 3/5 of a human and all this. You're now fighting his philosophies. Now you're fighting the ego of white supremacy. You're fighting the white man now. You see what I'm saying? So that's when you're Heru Behuteth. You're fighting the white man. And then the last form of Heru, Heru, that's when we have defeated the white man now. That's when we become gods. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the whole goal of this. You see what I'm saying? Essentially to become gods. You see what I'm saying? The reflection of Ra. You see what I'm saying? To become gods. So that is the goal of all this. You see what I'm saying? And so we become Heru, and we become God of this planet again. We become God of this realm once again. You see what I'm saying? So again, so that is just a breakdown of the Kemetic Tree of Life, and also I gave a little breakdown of how it relates to our fight against white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? So again, just a quick breakdown of the whole the Kemetic Tree of Life right here. Now, if you want more information about this, you want to get this book right here. This is the book. This is the book you want to get right here, The Kemetic Tree of Life by Muata Ashby. All right, so this is the book you want to get. This is where the information from this this video right here came from. Right here, this is the information. This is the source right here. So if you want to, so I would highly recommend you something. You get this book right here. You know what I'm saying? If you want more information about this, to go into more depth about this. All right, so. Alright, black people, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got some good information from this. Alright, black people, thanks for watching.